did you guys, as you're moving across the whole east side of the country, north to south, are you seeing like a lot of firefights too during this time? Or obviously we kind of beat them into the bush in late '01 into '02, but now like are they poking their head out more and trying to establish political presence?
No, not at all. Not. In fact, we actually had the Afghans had their first free elections while we were there. That was one of the things that we helped them execute. I think it's one thing to describe Afghanistan. So we, the West, have drawn a political boundary around a group of tribes that don't really identify as a nation. Yeah. Bin Laden chose Afghanistan because they had no national government that was capable of controlling their borders. Yep. And so he could do whatever the hell he wanted to do.
Yep.
And so, invading Afghanistan, it's tribes. And so our fight were along the Afghan-Pakistan border, were those tribes that were coming across from Pakistan and then going back.
Yeah.
And then there were Chechens and all kinds of cats and dogs that were trying to just be belligerent, just being belligerent against the West or us. But it was, they had no national strategy except just to, screw with us. I was on this forward operating base called Salerno that wasn't too far from the Pakistan border, and just like you could count on when the moon visibility was low or zero illume, we were going to get rocketed. They were going to shoot at us, because they weren't afraid to move around when it was completely dark. When the moon was out and we had our nods and stuff, they didn't tend to monkey with us too much.
Yeah, I mean they call that place like the graveyard of empires or something when you look at history, because it's this landlocked, geographically odd country, and no one can ever tame it.
No one ever tamed it. Absolutely, and we drank the Kool-Aid and thought we could, and 20 plus years later we left, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain? I mean, I'm sorry. You said even something as slight as the moon being out interfered with your ability to see them at night.
No, we could see them at night. But we didn't when there was no
Right.
moon out. Then there was things became more dangerous.
Really?
Yeah, especially like flying and everything. Like I'll give you a for instance. So when there was zero illume, you had to have the criteria for launching a medevac was life, limb, or eyesight. So anything that wasn't critical, we weren't launching. We weren't launching a helicopter because the risk reward wasn't there.
Yeah.
So, and anything that wasn't life, limb, or eyesight, I believe it probably had to have a general officer sign off. I'm like, okay, why do you feel like this? Because I mean, the terrain, the mountains. I had two soldiers that worked for me that were in the Dorey that were killed in a daylight helicopter because of the sand. It just that place is like it's like the end of the earth. I mean, it's the land that time forgot, man.
Jeez,
it's just
creepy.
Yep.
Did you have? I mean, because like you said, you're there helping with their first free and fair elections, but did you have any inkling that this was going to slowly disintegrate towards what it did?
No, I didn't. I don't know that. Well, I'll say this. I didn't think it was a good idea for us to occupy this place because I didn't think that we as the West had the political will to see this through. I mean, this is a 1,000-year project.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, you know what? we're we signed up for the timeshare that we don't frickin' want. This isn't a good deal.
That's a good way to put it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you're talking about, like, you were mentioning some helicopters that get shut down. You're worried about rockets and things like that from rebel forces in this case. Did you guys, as you're moving across the whole east side of the country, north to south, are you seeing like a lot of firefights too during this time, or?
No. I say fortunately not. We didn't see a lot. But again, I think that war, that conflict didn't pick up until we got more forces over there. We were literally, I say, at a bare minimum. I mean, we're in a country that's about the size of Texas, with barely a division.
Yeah.
So we were spread so thin that, we just didn't have enough people to bump into. We were just really kind of securing ourselves. I mean, we sent patrols out and stuff. I mean, we weren't hunkered down, but we didn't. The more people we got out there, the higher the casualties went up there because we could find them.
What was your relationship like at this time, like with intelligence? Are you working hand in hand with intelligence sources to determine how you're doing your job, or is it a little separated?
No. Inherent to all of our organizations, we have intel cells. I mean, they're intel assets, and so we're naturally trying to fuse our intel with our operations, and so intel drives ops. So so it's we're joined at the hip.
Right, and you're making relationships obviously with people in different villages and stuff like that
Right.
on your own.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Doing the FriendCon stuff. Big things like just medical support, going out and taking we used to call a MedCap team, medical capabilities team, and getting kids shots and fixing people's teeth and all that was just kind of goodwill to kind of help build a positive relationship with the locals.
Yeah, and I talked to so many guys who felt like, especially when they saw what happened 20 years later, that they had so many friends there who were caught in the middle of that. Like,
we gave it all back.
There were deep relationships with so many Afghanis. It's really sad.
Yeah. Yep.
And when you did see that happen, I would imagine in the last decade leading up to that, it certainly was going the wrong way. But when you see the imagery of August 2021 looking like the fall of Saigon all over again, what's going through your head as someone who served there?
Well, yeah, I don't want to say I told you so, but it's just like, I could. That's the same thing I said. We didn't have the political will at the end of the day, because this is, it's a 100-year project. This is, again, we call it Afghanistan, but it's not it's the word country in the sense that we identify with, a nationalistic view, institutions. They got nothing.
Yeah.
And and we think we're gonna do something. We're gonna fix this in 20 years.
Good luck.
Yeah. Look at our country. Look, our country developed off the East. We basically said the West was the Wild Wild West. Right? We didn't get to the West until 60, 70, 80 years later.
Yep. Yeah.
Like we'll get to that. We can't handle that, right? Right.
Yeah, I never heard someone put it that way, but that's probably accurate. I do wonder. I will always Monday morning quarterback this. I wonder if we hadn't gone to Iraq, if it would look a lot different. I do wonder that, just because.
If Iraq would look different,
if Afghanistan
would have,
yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe, that's a great question, because maybe we could have had enough combat power to really get rid of the Taliban. Create some overwhelming time and space for it, but it was a slow roll. Afghanistan essentially became, they were the authors of 9/11, and they became an economy of force operation. We had
a what?
Economy of force. So we had the bare minimum. In my opinion, we had the bare minimum in Afghanistan because Iraq was the priority.
Yeah.
Again, look, Japan attacked us The priority was Europe.
Yep. Strange how that happens. But you did end up in Iraq after this. How long again were you in Afghanistan? I'm sorry.
I was in there for a year.
A year.
June of 04 to June of 05, and then I got restationed from Hawaii to Fort Riley, Kansas. And then this is when our military was, we were having to actually grow. We're building our military because we're now fighting in 2 theaters on 1 year on 1 year deployments. And so I got assigned to command a unit that I had to build from scratch.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.